Alright, welcome to another video. We're working on a Pride Jazzy Zero Turn mobility scooter. This has actually been sitting up in the rain for probably the guts of a year, I was told. And essentially, it's completely dead. So if I switch it on here, nothing works. So that doesn't work there. Batteries are flat. But they've plugged in the charger, and they've also mentioned that even when they plug in the charger there, that it's still dead as a dodo. So even if the batteries are flat, plugging in the charger should allow that to turn on. So my first port of call is probably going to be the key switch, because if it's left outside in the rain, water can ingress in there and actually cause an issue, a connection issue with that switch. But in terms of with it switching on and off, if that charger was plugged in, you should still get lights up there, and that's what's getting me. So the first thing I'm going to do is check there. Failing that, it's going to be the control unit. Underneath this footboard, usually anyway, in most Pride machines, there should be a little area here where the control unit sits. And what can happen is, when it's really raining, even though you can't get rain in from there, when it's raining heavy, the rain will actually bounce off the ground and go up underneath into that area, and it'll pool where the control unit is, and that's how comes you can get bad connections, and essentially the thing will be dead and won't do anything you want it to do. So yeah, other evidence of it as well, being in the water, you can see here state of motors. Like, I know that happens over time, but they look fairly crappy, and it doesn't seem like a really old machine at that. So if we get it working, or should I say when we get it working, what I will do then is clean it up, change the batteries, brand new set of batteries, and yeah, go from there really. Please don't mind the tractor in the background. He's working down the road there. Okay, so what I didn't realize actually with this machine is the customer actually fitted a set of batteries on this already. So not that it matters really. We know that even when you plugged in a charger and the batteries are flat, you're still going to get power into the machine and the lights should turn on. But at the very least, right now, what I do know for sure is that there is power in the machine, but the lights won't come on. I'm actually going to go and work on that right now. I'm actually going to pull this apart here and check the key switch. That is the first thing I'm looking at, is that key switch. If it's not that, well then this video is going to get a lot more interesting. So yeah. Let me get this cover off, and we'll check the key switch. What we'll do is a continuity test. We might even do a bypass on it just to see if we can get these lights coming up. Because if it's something like just a key, well, this should be a simple fix. The key switch here. Can't really see much evidence of water damage or anything, because I know you would see on that board kind of white spotting and all. Kind of possibly there on the potentiometer, a little bit of rust. That can happen. The metal is quite ferrous on that now, actually. And you're seeing this live. I do not know this is a key switch issue yet. See that white stuff there? Kind of around, let me just point at it with a screwdriver here. Around there. Around here. That could be indication of water getting through that, so remains to be seen. Now, I want to show you a bit of a lesson here, okay, about how our switch works, before I go showing you what I did to diagnose this. So, this is a lighter, okay? You imagine that's like one connection, that's the other. So imagine, this is one side of the connection, that's the other side of the connection. So when you turn on a switch, it makes a connection, okay? So them two are touching each other, that's how a light switch turns on, etc., okay? Now, when we're using a meter and we're going to check this switch now, essentially these two probes can actually see each other. It'll make a beepy noise, okay? So watch. So if they can see each other, them two probes can see each other, it'll make a beepy noise. Alright, so that means if, for example, if the key is switched off, so back to this analogy, the key is switched off, it's like that. If we go to the two wires that are coming out of the key switch and put this on one, that on the other, that shouldn't make any noise. It'll be staying like that, it'll be no beep. When we turn on the key, when them connections see each other, them two wires I'm about to show you, second I turn on and you put this meter one onto each wire, it'll start beeping like that. But guess what? I've just checked that, okay? And let me show you. Don't mind the noise in the background. It was a tractor a minute ago, now it's a hedge trimmers. So let me show you how I'm going to diagnose this. You see the way you have one wire coming out here, this one here, and then underneath you have another one there, okay? That's coming out of the key switch, this part here, okay? Now I have the key in the on position. So essentially, as I was showing you a minute ago with that meter, when I put the probes, one probe on the brown wire and one on the red, that is going into this connector, which you can see here, these two here. What should happen then is that should make a beeping noise on the meter. So I'm going to disconnect this and do it one-handed. There we go. So effectively, I'm going to go and test that with the meter now, okay? Let me show you. And just to prove, if I touch this meter, start beeping, okay? So, one on the brown, one on the red. Guess what? It's not beeping. That meter is not making any beeping noises. And I've tested this before doing this. See? Yeah, okay. So with that not beeping, and basically them connectors not seeing each other, that would tell me that the key switch is actually gone. Okay? And this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cut them wires and I'm going to join them together. Okay? Just to see, can I get it turned on? Okay, so what I've done actually is I got a piece of wire and I'm going to bypass it. I'm not going to cut it, just in case I was wrong, because I don't want people at home now cutting wires and it turns out it's not the key switch or something else, or they weren't holding the meter. So I'm going to just slip a wire right behind where these two are here, the red and the brown, and you'll see in a minute what I mean. But basically that should bypass the switch. We'll connect it up and see if that scooter turns on for us. A paper clip might actually be better, but we've bypassed them connectors. I'm going to connect that connector back up to where it was connected to. And let's see if that machine switches on for us. And guess what? We've bypassed the key, because no matter what I do, it doesn't make a difference now. And let me just prove it to you. So that is the key switch. The key's gone, because I've just bypassed it. Don't think it's going to drive for me. That's where my screwdriver went. Okay, let's see if it drives. Yeah, I think it's good to go. So yeah, there's a key switch. See that connector where I temporarily bypassed the wires? If I pull that out here, it's gone now. Thing is dead again. So all that was wrong with this was a faulty barrel, and that's definitely down to being left in the rain. So that's why you find with these scooters, some of them have this umbrella kind of shape or mushroom type of key, where it protects it as well. But if it's left out in the rain when not in use, there's not going to be a key in it, and then it gets in there, and that's how it stops working. Okay, good news. We have a key switch. Not the umbrella type or the mushroom type, but we have a key switch. Essentially, they're ready to go in the next few minutes, and the customer could literally collect their mobility scooter an hour after dropping it in. So yeah. What we're going to do for this, just for demonstration purposes, is we're going to use these Wagos. These Wagos are like a quick connector, and what they'll do is they're a quick way of connecting up these wires, as long as there's room to have them in there, because we don't want it getting in the way of the throttle. You can also solder these wires on, but essentially we're just going to connect one set of wires with black, one with the white. So previously there was, and it's a good idea to take photos of this beforehand. The red wire was going into one, and then two brown wires were sharing going into the second one, and that's what we're going to do here. So yeah, very straightforward anyway. So let's get the old one out and get the new one in. So we have a Wago connector here, and I have one wire going in. I'm going to push this one on here. Now you can use crimps, you can use whatever, and close it. That's a good connection. Only if you have room in there. So same with this. Like, I'd usually solder them, but I just want to show someone at home who's doing it. Same with this. We're going to use this connector here. one of these, one in each hole, and close each one down then. So I'll do that now. Okay, so we've connected our connectors up here now. So the white one, for example, has gone to the red. The red was on its own originally on the old one, and the two browns are connecting to the black. Two browns were together on the other one. So I'll bunch all of this up. I just want to check now, see if it's actually working. There you go. Lights are on, off, on. Perfect. So we got all this back together. Okay, with this it's quite straightforward. It's literally two screws under here. Watch the ones that the front ones were actually the handlebar. That's what holds the bottom part. So it's these ones here. And we have to take that shroud off, that clips off, and there were them two screws as well. That whole part comes off. So there you go, clip back on here. And yeah, that's confirmed. That works. So customer will be very happy. Okay, so this machine is now good to go. The key switch is being changed. As you can see, we changed that. We use quick connectors to connect it up inside there. Obviously, I'm taking great care to make sure, because I cable tied them up there as well, because you don't want the part where this lever moves in and out to actually get caught up in one of them connectors you're using. So be careful, because what can happen one day, you just start going and it'll get stuck here and you'll keep going. It's had a good clean. It's in good condition otherwise. And yeah, quite happy with it. Customer might have to get batteries for it, but we'll leave it on an overnight charge. But besides that, the machine is absolutely flying it. So the lesson here is, don't leave your mobility scooter in the rain, because you'll break your key switch. And that goes for any make and model scooter, by the way. And whether there's covers like mushroom covers that surround the key or not, it doesn't matter. That's more for when you're using it and you're caught out in the rain. It might temporarily protect you. But if you store your machine outside, make sure, especially if the rest of it's protected within reason, at least cover this with a bag or something, like a shopping bag or something, to stop the water getting in at that. Okay, so look, thanks for watching this repair video. Please like and subscribe. I enjoy doing this, and yeah, every subscriber helps me earn more on the channel. You can also support me on Patreon as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.